I will know in about 30 seconds when you actually catch up to me. And now I'm going to pot up the other microphone for Leo Tan. How you doing, Leo?
Hello. Hey. Hi, Jerry.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Sorry, just as you turn on the camera, a giant mosquito flew into my eye.
I waited until that. See, I sent the mosquito to fly in your eye so I could turn the mic on.
Thank you.
And
You're
there
swell guy.
Yeah. Well, great. That's that's the goal. Is to make you as miserable as possible. So,
All right.
yeah. So you are Turbines. Well, in the past, you've had several hats.
Sure.
As it relates to DDO, you often deal with the press.
Right. So actually, yeah, I'm the digital communications manager, which is a made-up job title, which means that I do a whole bunch of stuff. For DDO, these days not as much, but in the old days for DDO, when I first joined Turbine, which was about 4 years ago, I did all the press outreach and desk side demos, and sort of taking the newest version of DDO out to meet people. Very quickly transitioned to doing online sessions where we would meet them, we would Skype in, and everyone would meet in game, and then we'd sort of GMs, superpower them around about and show them as much stuff as possible. And then as sort of Twitch became more capable, we switched to the model, which is now essentially what you do on a regular basis, but directly to the community, where we almost, I don't want to say don't need the press anymore, but are able to give equal footing to the players as press, and show everybody the new stuff as we go. And so now that you are so proficient at showing the game to our players, kind of don't really need me anymore. So I've gone to hide in a cupboard. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's true. It's also, I think, a matter of the internet changing. I mean, when DDO launched in 2006 in particular, it was still very much a traditional press setting, right? I mean, you had, your magazines.
Magazines were still a thing.
Yeah.
And magazines are actually still a thing in some parts of the world. Certainly Japan is still dominated by the one magazine, for instance, that has ever existed. In America now, not so much. Some countries in Europe, but not all. And they're still, and kind of depending on the format that your game is on. But I think for PC, the world of print is not as important as the world of online now. You just can't.
Right, and we still have media outlets, right? You've got
Sure.
your IGNs and GameSpots and Giant Bombs and all that sort of thing, but we also have Twitch nowadays and
Right.
YouTube gaming and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and that's led to it. In some ways, it kind of reminds me almost like the influence that Napster had on the music industry.
Right.
It's just an explosion of people all of a sudden sort of having many ways all of a sudden to get the information they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the old problem was that you, as a gamer, you wanted to play all the games, but you couldn't afford to buy all the games, so you would rely on someone else who did play, his job it was to play all the games, to tell you which of the ones that were important, and then that's how you would invest your money, unless you were really rich, and then you would just buy every single game. And then that was a model for a really long time, and then sort of free-to-play came, kind of changed that, so you could just try everything and then you could decide what you wanted. But also now, now publishers and developers, we have the means to just talk directly to players in a way that we never did before, and show you the game in a way that we never did before. And so that also means that as a gamer, you don't need that necessarily. You don't need someone else to play the game to tell you whether or not you want to play it. You can tell just by looking at it.
And that's frightening and cool and frightening.
It's a little bit
right?
frightening, but it's better for you as well. I mean, it doesn't help the sort of the old traditional day one goal of, like everyone buys day one, and so and sometimes if there's a game that that you're going to play, like I knew I was going to play Destiny, so I was all in on day one, took time off work, blah blah blah, whatever. So that's kind of still there, and they're still, they're as a gamer you can get swept up in that, but you also, if you no longer need to ever rely on someone else's opinion to tell you whether or not a game is worth playing. You can just come straight to us. We'll show you the stuff you want to see, and then you can make the decision for yourself.
All right. Now, besides you doing DDO press work and screenshots and some production work and helping with the PR department in general,
Sure.
I know you mostly as a massive Street Fighter and League of Legends player and Infinite Crisis player and
Oh,
all the
man,
rest
Infinite-
as well. You're the
yeah.
one who basically beats me at any competitive game in the office.
Well, I don't know if that's. I mean, well, thank you. I think.
No,
I
it's not.
it's not in a malicious way. I play a lot of competitive games. Before I worked here, I worked at Capcom. Played a lot of Street Fighter. I played Street Fighter just today. 5 came out. That's pretty exciting. I don't know what I'm doing in it yet. The buttons are the same, but they do different things. But yeah, I really love competitive games. I was really sad when Infinite Crisis closed. I played a lot of that game. I do play a lot of League. Haven't. When was the last time I played DDO? I think the last time I played DDO was just before my daughter was born.
Sure, right. Of course, that's actually happened relatively recently, and
so
as any father well knows, pretty much destroys your schedule.
Actually, yeah, it's like 10 months ago. But anything that requires a lot of time, and DDO requires a big time investment to get the most out of it, was just removed from my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I'll come back one day when she's old enough to look after herself, but she is not at the moment. That's for sure.
So in like
Yeah.
25, 30 years?
Yeah.
Something like
Well,
that?
you yourself have a
Yeah, I have a young
son.
child myself.
Yeah, so I don't know how old they are, but that doesn't bode well for me that you're saying it'll take a while.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I wouldn't start any 100-hour RPGs anytime soon, because you'll
Yeah.
get done with them in about 5 to 7 years.
So yeah, I definitely have bought RPGs recently and then played them for like what I do, like I did like 8 hours of Fallout.
Yeah.
I just was sad. I did 10 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was glorious. But then you just can't. If you can't pause it and you can't pause DDO, you can't go and attend to your child. So,
Right.
yeah.
See, the nice thing with DDO is you can pike. So you can go into the quest, pretend like you're going to join the raid group, and then say, "Oh, sorry, I've got to change a diaper." And what are they going to do about it? Nothing.
I mean, it's bad form. I don't think we should promote that as behavior. We don't do that. That's rude. But I mean, if it gets you loot, I don't know. But still, probably don't do it.
Do it. It's fine.
The voice of responsibility, Jerry.
Yes, indeed it is. All right. Well, thanks. Anything else you want to add? You're currently working on the mobile title.
I'm working on Batman Arkham Underworld, and also our not so secret, but still a ways off, other mobile title for Game of Thrones. But I miss DDO, and there was a period, the last sort of every time you see a video in press on a website where there's a journalist going through and they're kind of seeing stuff, maybe not the last kind of 6 months or so, because Jerry's taken over that himself, but when you've seen a really, really, really bad DDO player wandering on a screen, don't know what they're doing, and sort of hitting their sword in the midair, that was always me. There was no one else at Turbine, so I apologize to you all for my horrendous play. That was all me.
I have one more thing I need to bring up, because let's see, Janie77 says in chat, you have an accent.
I do. Can you tell where it is?
Texas, right?
Yeah. The deep. I'm from the deep south. I've got a dog, and I like my dog and barbecue.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get alligator boots and the whole
Right?
shebang. 10-gallon hat.
someone asked-
So you're from Scotland.
I am from Scotland. I've been gone from Scotland for 22 years, give or take a couple of years where I went back, so it's nearly gone. If you were Scottish and you were talking to me, my accent would come back really strong, and it'd be like, you probably wouldn't came up and talking about it, and that would be bad, but I do tone it down so that normal people from outside Scotland can understand what I'm saying. Amazing things that I've been called here, Canadian, Russian, somewhere in Eastern Europe, but I don't know where you're from, Leo, New Zealand. So Americans generally are really great at pinpointing European accents.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're the person to go to with any sort of Scotch questions, that kind of thing, is that right?
I know a lot about Scotch. I know a little bit too much about Scotch. But yes, if you have any questions, we can field them. I have another couple of minutes, but otherwise, yes. Don't get too much into Scotch, kids.
Yeah, right. You gotta be careful.
Not a healthy thing.
Fruit
Fruit juice and water. Yeah.
But on those cold winter nights.
Yeah, but then like maybe a stout or is also good if you're gonna drink alcohol, or a rye or a bourbon. Scotch is a big markup when it comes to America, so you'll pay about twice as much as Scottish people would. So it's not a super convenient habit to get into.
Yeah. Thanks, Leo.
All right, thanks a lot, Jerry. See you later.
Leo